How you doing, Mr. DJ? Gonna do one more video for tonight for my 60s YouTube channel. Got a groovy instrumental coming up. This is one of these, some of these love-in groove jam classics you play at these psychedelic parties. It's Apricot Brandy by Rhinoceros. March 1st, 1969, Billboard's Hot 100. The #1 song was Everyday People by Sly and the Family Stone, but forget about that. I'm all about these Lost 45s. Rhinoceros. This was a publicity machine and a half. It was a publicity thing that was organized by a fellow named Paul Rothschild. Paul Rothschild of Elektra Records, in-house producer and talent scout of Elektra Records. If you read the comprehensive history of rock and roll, you will run into Paul Rothschild's name. Paul Rothschild, along with another fellow named Frazier Mohawk, they put together this studio band. They signed up these talented young musicians, and they said, we're going to put you in a band. Not a band signing to a record label, but a group of musicians that will become a band within the confines of the studio, of the record company. And it bombed. Rothschild produced his self-titled album by Rhinoceros, and the publicity machine of Elektra went behind this band. And they only had that one hit. It did not make top 40. The publicity machine, despite the rocket propellant it put behind this band, it fizzled out. Had to have been a big blow to Rothschild. And of course the band members who were selected, and I tell you what, Frazier Mohawk and Paul Rothschild, they went through a lot of trouble organizing the studio band. They didn't just, hey, we'll sign you, we'll put you on. Yeah, come on in, we'll sign you. Yeah, we're going to put you in a rock and roll band. It wasn't quite like that. Rothschild and Mohawk, first edition, 1967. They auditioned 12 musicians at Frazier Mohawk's home in Laurel Canyon, the famed Laurel Canyon where the rock stars, the West Coast rock stars lived. Joni Mitchell, David Crosby, John Phillips of the Mamas and Papas, some of the group members of the Monkees, Mike Love, I think, of the Beach Boys, the beautiful people of the rock and roll of the West Coast lived in Laurel Canyon. And Frazier and Rothschild held their first edition for Rhinoceros, the band Rhinoceros, at Laurel Canyon. Later, in '67, in the fall of '67, Rothschild and Mohawk, they organized another edition in Los Angeles, featuring this time 20 musicians. One of the guys that became a member, guitarist Danny Weiss. It's W-E-I-S. These little names always throw me. Danny Weiss, former guitarist, one of the original members of the Iron Butterfly. He played on their first album, on Iron Butterfly's first album. Danny Weiss did. Well, eventually, as I've already mentioned, Rothschild produced their self-titled album. It was released. They hyped it up. They blew it up, and it burst. The week of March 1st, 1969, Apricot Brandy, which was co-written by West, by the way, the instrumental went from 82 to number 80. Crawled up the Hot 100. Got as high as number 46. That's it. But one other thing I got to mention about this album. I didn't know this. This blew me away. You find out these little nuggets of information that just like, oh my God. Man, I didn't know that. You kidding me? On that album, that self-titled album, there was a song called I Will Serenade You. It was written by a group member, one of the vocalists, or maybe the vocalist. His name was John Finley. I Will Serenade You became Let Me Serenade You. Let Me Serenade You became a hit for Three Dog Night. Wasn't a big hit. I think it came right after Shambhala. Let Me Serenade You by Three Dog Night. Fall of 1973, originally on the self-titled album by Rhinoceros. So the album was not a total loss after all. It's a classic. Apricot Brandy by Rhinoceros. Number 80 on Billboard's Hot 100 the week of March 1st, 1969.